morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Good morning, Chris. I did not attack you with that poll, Chris. I'll get into that in a second. Will, John, good morning, everybody. David, Enrico, how's it going? Chris, you starting your own poll? Morning, everybody. No, I started. Well, here, let's go into the charts first, and then I'll get into that, where I was going with that poll. And it's not to attack Chris. I love Chris. He's my buddy. All right, we got our opening range gap right here. I'm to be honest, I expected this to open and go up. And I have no no reason or indication that this thing will come down. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, there's a lot of reasons. If you're just purely going off the charts, there's been many reasons, many days where it's like, okay, it should come down. But with this government shutdown and all the stuff, like what other than just looking at the chart, there's nothing really. I don't think that nothing's going to bring the market down except for, if Trump tweets about a tariff or something, or, some kind of news, or like there's some bombing happens or something. Like, other than something like that, I don't see this. I see us doing like maybe some pullbacks here and there, but I don't really think we're going to come down much. It's just been crazy. So that's actually kind of what led me to, hey, Chris, thank you, sir. Thank you. And yes, for y'all, the sell ends today's Tuesday. Sell ends today. Use code WIN, get your $85 PA. Now the PA fee does expire today as well. So, but anyways, so that's what led me to that poll, because I know Chris has been trading gold. There's been other people trading different markets, and I've never been against trading other markets. I think it's a good thing to have a backup market. Personally, the reason why I've never traded other markets is because I'm just in tune with the way NQ moves. So the way the candlesticks paint, like every market is a little bit different. Now, how you trade it, the strategy, or however you trade it can be the same. If you're trading ICT concepts, it should work all the same. But the way the candles actually paint, the movement and all that is different. I personally don't have a feel for other markets, because if I'm going to trade in another market, I have to have had watched it for a good amount of time, like without trading, just to see how it moves. Because I remember one time when I was trading the Apex Sniper system, I tried a few different markets. I went to like CL. That thing moved completely different. So for me to trade another market, I have to watch it for a good amount of time just to get a good feel for the movement. Because in my opinion, if you don't, that'll cause you to not trade it the way you should. So like, for example, if I'm in a trade, I like it, I think it's going, short to whatever target. If any fluctuation within that trade, if I'm not comfortable and know what to expect for that market, it could cause me to get out of a trade too soon. So that's the only reason why I don't trade another market. It's not a bad thing. Like I should have a backup market that moves completely different than NQ. I'm not talking about like ES or YM. Those typically should be correlated with NQ for the most part. So like having a market completely outside of NQ, like gold, I mean, that's not a bad thing. I probably should for whenever the market is not favorable for NQ. But I've always been under the mindset of, if it's not favorable, I'd rather just not take a trade. So that's why that's like just kind of my thinking on it. For today, though, I'm just going to jump. Well, let's go into the daily chart here. Daily chart. huge opening range gap, which created this big imbalance here. Okay, which also created, I mean, it's just there. It's big imbalance. Let's see. Oh, we do have a big weekly volume bounce down here as well. But that's way down there. I say way down there. I'm talking about 25. It feels like just yesterday we were at 25,000. So now I do know I have that in my mind. We have this big imbalance here, so I am aware of that. And that's, again, why, like, it makes sense to come down there sometime, right? But it's hard to do without all the news and everything. So here's that new week opening gap. I'm going to focus in on price action after that. Same thing. I have my London range here marked out. I don't have any other than that. The opening range gap from yesterday, the new week opening gap. I don't have much reason for this to come down. There's not really like any relative equal lows. There's not much. Now, I did have this one back here from yesterday, kind of a relative equal low here, just to have something right below the opening range gap from yesterday. I'm not expecting much there. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We have a little bit of smoothness over here. It's just not much. It's not much for me to be like, oh, we definitely got to go there. So, little new week opening gap up here. Very little. I'm sorry, new day opening gap. So I'm kind of like I was doing yesterday. Not expecting much, unfortunately. And to be honest, today might be my last day trading this week. Because tomorrow we have FOMC. So I don't, if you know my rule, I don't trade at FOMC the day of. And then Thursday, we have some Fed speakers. I think it said like 9:55. It's low impact, but man, the way the market's been lately, if we have some Fed speakers, that might just kind of throw things off a little bit. And then Friday, I'll be out of town, so I'm not trading Friday. So today might be my last day for the week. It might not be a bad thing, actually. So the 15-minute here, I don't have much, so I'm going to basically focus in after 7 a.m. Since I don't have much, I'm going to see if the market shows its hand at anything. And after 7 a.m. on the 15-minute, we don't have much. We do have this 15-minute gap, of course, right here. Fair value gap. 15-minute fair value gap right there. So I'll keep that in mind. I don't like to mark it, but I'll keep that in mind. Drop down to the 5. On the 5, didn't really have much either. We had this same big gap right there. Pulled back into it, made a higher high. We'll see if we get a little bit of a breaker happen here on the 5-minute. Bearish breaker. I don't think we will, but just kind of maybe anticipate that a little bit. Not much there. 1-minute chart. So the 1 minute, I did see. So let's focus in right here a little bit on the 1 minute. We have a little bit of relative equal lows right here. So I marked that as a sell side just above the London range and midnight open. So if we do have a pullback, okay, maybe I could see us coming down to that. Then a little bit of smoothness right here. So I marked that just below the new day opening gap in case if we do have a little bit of a pullback. And of course, we do have a brand new opening range gap with our high here, low here. Here's the midpoint of it right here, right at the previous day high. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's get rid of this 7 a.m. there. Don't want to be just like yesterday, I don't want to be overly eager to short anywhere. All right, let's see what's going on. Max, you are not wrong. Well, I don't know that for sure, but I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it, what you said there. Your pessimistic side, yeah. Yeah, gold will remain my backup market. Chris says gold will remain his backup market. And that, hey, I like gold because as much as I've said, be careful for gold for whenever it does go back into how it normally operates. I do like it because it is a completely different, uncorrelated market than NQ. So for that reason, I would like gold. But I don't know. Maybe this is proven. Like, I've never really needed a backup market, right? Because yeah, NQ will go through its phase of maybe a couple weeks of bad price action, but it's for me anyways. This month of October, I've never seen it the way it's been with the government shutdown and all that, and all-time highs. It's just like I'm like, man, a month it's been pretty much the longest time I've seen this go on. So it has made me think maybe I do need to have a backup market with something completely uncorrelated. So no, I'm with you, Chris. Like, NQ sucks. Yeah, FOMC tomorrow. I don't know. I never trade FOMC, and I never trade the day of FOMC. And a lot of times, like, when the most of the time, the futures market prices in FOMC, the rate decision before it happens. So it's not like an NFP or a CPI where you're gonna have just crazy volatility. After FOMC, after 2 p.m., that's typically when you'll see the market move. But oftentimes it's already priced in, and most of the times the future market has it correct. Like, if you go to the Fed Watch, there's a website. You can go to the Fed Watch. I think it's Fed Watch. I know the website, but if you go there, it'll tell you what the probabilities are of the Fed rate decision, and that's what it's literally the futures market giving you the probability. Let me see if I can pull that up while we sit here. And they're they're like almost always right. So that's why you never really see much craziness with FOMC. Yeah, it's the CME group, Fed Watch. Here we go. Right here. Let me bring this over. CME group, they have this Fed Watch tool. It tells you when the next meeting is, and then what the probability is for the basis points. Like, it'll tell you, like, it'll keep telling you the probability right here in terms of what the rate is going to do. See, our current target rate is 400 to 425 basis points, 96.7%. This is where our rate's going to be. So it tells you, and like I said, very rarely do they get it wrong. So because of that, it's already priced into the market. So that's why you don't see much, you're not going to see a huge craziness unless if they just get it completely wrong. Yeah. All this paired with the all-time high. It would be another thing. It'd be different if we weren't at all-time highs, I feel like. Like, if we were not anywhere near all-time highs and we had all this going on, I think it'd be much easier. It's just pairing all of it together. Yeah. Make sure, and, this is capital preservation time. For sure. And October for me wasn't quite capital preservation. So lesson learned, right? The last 2 weeks have been fine because I'm like, yeah, I took some beating. Oh, and by the way, I found out what happened. I figured out yesterday what happened when I tried to take my trade and I got them pop-ups from Ninja Trader. The Affordable Indicators Trade Copier. If you use that, so I'm going to do a review video on this copier because this copier is, to me, like, it's better than every other copier by far. And I'm going to do a video on it with the features. Joel, the owner of the the company. He has some videos on their YouTube page, and it's just amazing. But I'm gonna do a review video on it and explain why I use it. But anyways, that copier, when you set it, or you could set it and just leave it every day, but the copier is not gonna take your accounts or your NinjaTrader out of Global Sim. I forgot about that. So like the Apex Trade copier, you pretty much have to set it every day. Like you have to select your leader every day and all that. And when you select your leader, it takes it out of Global Sim. So because I've used the Apex one for years, it's just been a habit that it takes it out of Global Sim. But whenever the affordable indicators copier, it's already pretty much set, and it just has an on-off button. Here, let me show you. Let me pull it over here real quick. So like it stays set, and I'll go through all this on my review video. But like literally, I just turn it on and off. Like it's so easy, and it's so customizable. So like I turned it on, but I forget turning it on does not take it out of Global Sim. So that is why it did that yesterday. I was still in Global Sim. So when I tried to place my trade, of course, because I have my live account connected right here in Trading View. It's connected directly, so of course it's gonna take it, execute it on my live account. But then in NinjaTrader, it was still in Global Sim, so my PA account did not trigger. So that's why. No, Max, I lost my 20 accounts at earlier in this month, so I'm in the process of replacing them. So I did have I put out a monthly recap video at the beginning of the month and went over all that. So if you want to see the devastation and what happened, you can watch that video. But, those 20 accounts, man, they lasted me over a year. And this year alone, I took out payouts directly to my bank account of just under 110,000. So, and I spent a little under $3,000 on those accounts. So I got my money's worth out of them. So, but now on to replacing, because unfortunately, yeah, I went over all that in that recap video. It was again, lesson learned. One of the best sayings is that you can lose, but you can just don't lose twice. Meaning, you got to learn a lesson from it. If you don't learn a lesson, then you can definitely lose twice. All right, we're coming back into the opening range gap. Yeah, John, I know. And that's why I purposely I got to where I was making sure I left my PA numbers on there so everybody could see that they were the same PAs. But it's fine because now that I'm trading live again, whenever I do get these new PAs, I'm going to be able to just basically, show the whole journey of those PAs. So now I do have one PA. One lonely PA right here, number 73. So should for this month be adding more. Hopefully by the end of November, I can have 20 again. That's kind of my goal. Yeah, Max. So two things. Learn from your mistakes, right? You got to learn. Don't make the same mistake twice. But then also learn from other people's mistakes. We don't have to always learn from our own mistakes. We can learn from other people's mistakes. All right, it's about to be 9:50. I'm looking. Remember, we have that 15-minute fair value gap pretty much right here. This low is where that 15-minute fair value gap is. We have this technical market structure shift. But I want to prove, because of the current conditions of the market, I want to prove to me that it's going to come down. So we have a little volume imbalance right here as well. Right there, volume imbalance. So you have to include it with this fair value gap. Let me just mark this so we can have a visual right there. Trying to see if we hold up here, Now you see how we made it up into this fair value gap. What I want to see is it not go to the midpoint of it, and I want to see it just keep displacing lower. And if that happens, this up candle right here is going to be a bearish order block. Right here. Because see, I like this reaction in here. Now, again, I with us being at all-time highs and everything, you can't really expect, like, I have reasons why the market could keep going lower and lower and lower, right? But I'm not going to expect it. So if I take trades, especially shorts, I definitely am going for low-hanging fruit. I'm not going to expect big runs out of it. See, I like how we came up into this, stayed in the lower half. We did not hit the midpoint of it. Now, keep in mind, though, we could, I want to see it come down here, but we could come back up, and I would want to see it, we could come back up and hit that midpoint and drop. So, and like I said, we still have that volume imbalance there. Going back into that 15-minute fair value gap now. Almost. The poll is so far 52% of people have not been trading another market, by the way. 29% are, and 19% are thinking about it. Pretty interesting. I guess I could say I'm in the thinking about it group. All right, now let's see the reaction. We did close below here. Let's see the reaction right up in here. Let's see where the midpoint of that 15-minute fair value gap is. Right here at about 023.75. So we dipped into that 15-minute fair value gap. So that 15-minute fair value gap is creating that little bit of turbulence here. Let's see if it comes back up and respects either this bearish order block, the midpoint of it here, or if it wants to come back up into this one and respect the lower half. That's what I'll be watching for, because I need it to show me that it wants to go lower. Right here, the lower half, or the midpoint of that potential order block there. I say potential because, yeah, look at that. I was going to say, I say potential because it may not be. It's just showing the signs that it could be. And obviously, so now, look at that. So I got to be really careful right now going short. I hope nobody shorted that. And if you did, I hope you got out quick with some profit. These are dangerous times. We do have some 10 a.m. news too, by the way. I think it's coming out. The Richmond Manufacturing Index, I think is what it was. It's the some medium impact news. So this could be another little stop run. So now here's what I'm looking for if we are going to go short. I'm looking for structure to form, right? So this could be a long-term high. We could be creating an intermediate term high right here. And this would be a short-term high. So now, if we come down, we may create one more short-term high here. And if it's going to go lower, displace lower. That's what I'll be looking for structure-wise. And if we get this right here that I'm drawing out, then I'd be very comfortable going short. But we might not. We might not. So just going to have to wait and watch. So we have that volume imbalance right there. Went straight up through that volume imbalance. Now let's see if we can take these lows or at least create a short-term high and then take the low. Then I'd be looking to go short. So like that's another thing that, and I know y'all have heard me say it over the last week, and I've had some screenshots about it, but if you really, the power of these highs and lows, not just in higher highs and lower lows, but the short-term highs, short-term lows, intermediate-term highs, long-term, all that, when you really, really pair that with everything else, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful. It helps you see the market structure. That's true market structure. And it helps you see it before, you know, an actual shift, I guess you could say. Because like I said before, like this is what most people only look for. Right here, higher highs, higher lows, and then, oh, we have a market structure shift, right? That's like what most people look for. But how many times have you seen this happen? Like, it'll do this. And you're like, oh, there's a market structure shift. But then it goes up higher again. And that's typically because it's creating an intermediate term high. And then it'll come down, create another short-term high, and then go. Like it, and it's like, oh, it made one more run back up there. Well, it's creating that intermediate term high. And then a lot of times it's just like a little stop run. Like this. And this could be an intermediate term high. We'll see. But then again, like, it could just keep going up. Nice, Will. So you shorted that to the 15-minute fair value gap. That's a good, probably, what, 30 points? close to it. About here. 23.5 or so. Get about a 1-to-1 on that. Right on 30. Nice. It's 10 a.m. now. Now let's see what we do here. There's still, again, no fair value gaps on the 5-minute or the 15-minute after the open. See if we continue to stay under this volume imbalance or not. Don't think we will, but... All right, now we have a opening range. So let's see what that looks like. Where's the low? There's 920, 954, 933. Okay, we have an opening range. And I'm going to throw my deviations up to the long side again. In case we do go up. So we have our opening range low right here, 029.50. The high is 094.75. And then the 0.25, 626, 111, 0.5, 26, 127.50. If it goes up. Now, of this opening range gap, you got optimal trade entry right here, the 70.5. And there is a fair value gap lined up, so right there. So if you really thought this was going long and didn't expect any short, right here would be a good long. About 0.48 right up to the high or up to the 0.25, however. It's not my trade entry model, so I'm not taking it, but I always want to look and see how things like that potentially could work, and then I note it. If I see it over and over and over, then eventually I start looking to add it into my entry model. It's having a tough time at that volume imbalance there. I'm telling you, you learn, if you're not really, really good at this stuff yet, you learn so much by just sitting here watching. Just sitting here watching these candles move. Watch how they paint. And, you know, you'll just really learn so much. And that's what I mean by, like, why I don't just jump into a different market. I got to watch that market for a while and just see how it moves. Like, you can say it's like getting in tune with the market or whatever you want to call it. But, like, I really, you just learn so much by watching. There you go, Mac. Will, yeah. Just watching, noting, journaling. Write it down. Because you can't, right? Like, you can't argue with data. That's my thing. Like, if I build data on whatever it is, I mean, that's why I love numbers. Numbers never lie. So it's like, if I build data, it's like, okay, well, 80% of the time this works out. This happens 80% of the time or 70% of the time, whatever. And then if I feel comfortable with that data, as long as I don't change anything, it should average out, right? As long as you get enough data. So, yeah, that's what I do. Look at this volume imbalance. Man, this is really... See, and this is stuff like this too. Like, marking stuff and watching reactions. And look at the body. The close right here. Probably it's going to rock it up just because I'm about to say this. But look at the body right here. You had the close. You wicked up above these highs. Closed here. Then look at all the wicks. Right up to that body. Right up to that body. Struggling right there. You had this volume imbalance right here. So it's like, what's it trying to do here? Like I said, just because I'm saying that, it's probably going to rock it up. And look at the wick on the 15-minute chart. This candle. Like, pretty bullish. Could be. Ran way down here. Wicked down and ended up closing up here. Now, potentially comes down to about the midpoint of this wick and then keeps going up. Let's see, where's the midpoint? Be just right here. Of course, when you go to the higher time frames, like the 4 hour, there was some, fair value gaps in here too as well. So like, but it's a little bit lower, but still. Not expecting much, unfortunately. Mm-mm-mm. 10:08. Yeah, I mean, it's... This is what we've been getting. Chris, did you trade gold today? Did you get a trade? What about everybody else? Is there, for those of you that do trade other markets, what other markets do you trade? Aside from, I know gold has been the hot one lately. Let's see, what else? You got CL. That's always, to me, it's always been, if it's not the indices, like NQ, ES, YM, RTY, it's typically been gold or oil, CL, for me, that I've ever like kind of wanted to have an interest in. Yeah, gold was too fickle. Yep. It's just lately that's been going on these runs. Gold, yeah, most people are trading gold right now. And when I've been even seeing Ninja Trader running ads saying trade gold on Facebook. So like, when you start seeing that, there's about to be some people get hurt. Just like Bitcoin. Anytime you see Bitcoin making all-time highs and going, and you start seeing, great grandmothers saying, "Hey, have you heard about Bitcoin?" All right. Might be time to sell. It's about to drop. Yeah, exactly. Red flag. I've always been kind of curious of forex futures as well. I just don't know the times that the forex market should, do things. But I know there's been people do pretty well on forex futures also. Has anybody traded forex futures on here? This volume imbalance is still holding up. Yeah, I might consider looking into forex futures just to see when the times are and stuff, because it doesn't have a market open like NQ and ES and all that is pretty much tied to the New York Stock Exchange, but forex, I have no idea what times for what pair are the best. I tried, but forex is not good for. John tried, but forex is not good for. Yeah, I mean, I know for sure it wouldn't be good for me right away. I would definitely have to watch it. Like I said, just have to watch it and figure it out. Just can't jump into it. There's other metals as well. Silver. I've seen people trading silver, platinum, copper was a thing. I just can't do this to slow moving markets. That's my thing. That's another reason why I stick with NQ. If there's something that can move, I don't think there's anything that moves as fast as NQ, but if there's something that could at least move decent, then I'd be interested. Hey, message me that, John, if you don't mind. If you have a copy of what pairs is good in every time zone, if you don't mind, send me that on my Discord. Like, message me that on Discord. I'd be very interested to see. I'm sure now with like ChatGPT, I can go and do some research and figure it out decently quick. But if you already have something, I'd appreciate that. All right, so once we get to this 10:20, 10:21 time, if we don't do much, man, I'm telling you, I'm not going to expect anything. Yeah, you can trade. It's forex futures though, so it's still futures, but it's of the forex pairs, and you can trade those with Apex. Yeah. Lean hog futures. Yeah. Lean hog futures. Bring home the bacon. There you go. That's a slogan for you. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Was there really, Max? Trading places. Nice. I'm going to have to check that out. Is it like a corny comedy, or is it like just comedy? Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. All right, yeah, I'm watching that. I feel like I've seen that actually. Trading Places. That sounds familiar. Here, let me look it up. If it's got Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, yeah, it's got to be hilarious. I feel like I've seen it. I just don't remember it. Let's see. Where can I watch it? Where can I pull that up? Let's see. Who has it? Prime Video, Pluto TV. I'll find it. Yeah. I feel like movies just aren't made the same anymore. Like there's so many movies that you can be, oh man, that's a classic. Like I just in the last, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 years, I don't feel like there's movies that you're just like, that's going to be around for the next 50 years. I mean, there's a few, I guess, but I feel like there was just way more from the 80s all the way up to like the early 2000s, I feel like. Now, I was born in 85, but, you know, I was watching a lot of those in the 90s as a young kid. Man, this is terrible. Terrible price action. Holy moly. I mean, we do have the Fed funds rate tomorrow. We do have the rate decision tomorrow, so I always take caution the day before, even though I do trade the day before. I just don't trade the day of. I still take caution just in case if the markets are really anticipating that rate decision, because that always is a possibility. And even the Monday, like Monday on the rate decision on FOMC, even that day might not always be very good. So yeah, it's not looking good. And those are days that, you know, you can get, at least when price is moving, even if I don't get a trade, I can still read it, still look at it, still, you know, do all that. But when it's just doing this, there's just nothing. Like, there's literally nothing. And those are the days you can take those boredom trades if you're not careful. Like, it could just go like this. Whoop, give you a little fair value gap. Like, come down. You're like, oh, now we're going to go. And he's short here. And then it just goes. Whoop, and then it does this again. Like, yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, this is a great indicator. Just stay out. I'm literally going to wait maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, and I'm just going to stay out, close charts, not even look at it. And I probably, like I said, I'm definitely not trading tomorrow and definitely not trading Friday. Thursday is up in the air, but maybe not. I don't know. Max solves chess puzzles while waiting for trade setups. Sounds about right. Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis. I just saw that. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it too. Ugly. Yeah, and y'all know me by now, and if you don't, if you're newer and don't know, I typically don't like to stream just for the sake of streaming. Like, if I'm going to stream, I either want to do one of two things. I either want to be able to take a trade, right? Or potentially take a trade, or at least call out what I'm reading. And, you know, that's why I started my live a long time ago when I was with the Apex Sniper system, because I had a pretty good grasp on it. But people would ask me sometimes, like, hey, like, what about this or what about that? You know, what were you thinking? So I'm like, well, if I go live, I could just talk out loud as the market's going, kind of like I would be, you know, like if I'm thinking out loud, I guess you could say. Like whatever I'm thinking, I'll just think out loud and say it out loud so people can kind of get into my mindset while I'm trading. So if I can't even do that during the market, for me, it's like I don't have any other reason to just be sitting here live. Like, if there's not even that, there's no trading, I'm not doing any, like, I typically don't do giveaways all the time. So it's like, you know, I enjoy you guys, but hey, if there's nothing, then there's just nothing some days. But the takeaway from today is I got a good movie recommendation. Yeah. Well, look at this though. Okay, so I do have a comment to make. Oh, yeah. Shadow 100% slept in. So look, remember I mentioned that we could see it come down to OTE if this is going to keep going up in where this fair value gap is, optimal trade entry. And if you were really biased long and thought this is going to go long, that'd be an entry right there that we just got, and you take it right up to this high or to the deviation above. However, that is not my entry model. And with the way price, even if it was the way price action is today, I don't know if I would even trust that. Although we did engineer a lot of buy side liquidity right up in here, but yeah, price action is just very unattractive. I don't trust anything right now. See? Be careful. If I was to trade or look for a short still, like, it's really, like, I can't, even if this gives me a fair value gap in here and comes down, I can't trust that. You saw what happened here, right? I can't trust that. What I would want to see is a fair value gap in here. Use it like it did kind of right here, and then go down further and give me another one to really solidify, really show me a shift and all that. Otherwise, nope. So, yeah. By this time, 10:24, 10:25, 10:30, if nothing's already shaped out for me, that's it for me. That's it. I mean, it could go the rest of the day, but I like that first hour after the market opens. Typically, rarely do I go close to 11 a.m. By this time, it tells me all I need to know. And right now, it's telling me all I need to know. It's telling me that I need to look at OTE right here, optimal trade entry still. That is the area I would if I was gonna be open to anything, I would want to watch this area. Like I said, I need it to displace lower and keep going what I just said lower. However, to the long side, basically I'd want to see this area. Let's see how this holds up here. And if this area holds up here and we get displacement up, leaving a fair value gap somewhere, most likely we're going to look something like that. If this area holds up here. However, on the other side of it, if it doesn't, I would need to see further displacement lower with the fair value gap, use it, and then keep going to really like consider anything short. But either way, for me, I'm done for the day. I am done for the day, and it is what it is. Yeah, you're not losing money. Like I said first thing this morning, these are times of capital preservation. Like being flat is a position, and just there's no point of risking it. There's really not. Wait for good price action or find another market, you know. But just don't be quick to jump into anything and then lose your money there. So yeah. So I'm gonna call it. And like I said, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow, or Friday. I'll keep y'all. Just watch the post channel on YouTube, and I'll let y'all know about Thursday. We'll see. We'll see what the market does tomorrow afternoon after FOMC. That'll probably tell me everything I need to see or know whether or not I'm going to trade Thursday. So depending on that, tomorrow afternoon will determine whether I trade Thursday. So, well, let's see here. Let's see if it does. Hey, maybe it does want to come down now. But be careful. Be careful. I'm still going to hop off here. That way I don't do anything stupid. So, all right, y'all. I'm going to hop off. Yep. And if y'all are going to trade, as always, trade well, everybody, and be careful. Take care.